Do you guys have any kind of price target on Ether?
By owning Ether, you're indexing the space of DeFi and all the layer 2 protocols and projects built on top of it. So think about buying land in Manhattan and people are then building skyscrapers on top of it. The more buildings and skyscrapers that are built on top of your land, the more people that demand that land, the more value. So by buying Ethereum, you are effectively buying land on this island. And you could also invest and or build a skyscraper, but that sort of becomes more of like picking the right project. Yeah, I think you're right. 5,000, 5 to 10 feels like a reasonable range towards year end. And I guess if we're currently at Ethereum's maybe 50% market cap of Bitcoin, and we think Bitcoin's a 10x from here, I see no reason to believe that Ethereum isn't at least a 10x sort of lockstep.
Right.
And maybe, quite frankly, a lot more to my previous comments about how do you put a bound on this type of innovation and creativity? You really can't.
After the cryptocurrency crash, many investors quickly lost faith in the future of Ethereum. In this video, the Winklevoss twins, who are the founders of the crypto exchange Gemini, speak on how even when Ethereum was at all-time high levels in the 4,000s, it could still do at least a 10x. They also speak on where they expect the price to be sitting by the end of this year, as well as what Ethereum's major threats are, such as competitors like Cardano. You may know the Winklevoss twins from the social network, and they arguably helped found Facebook, so if there are experts on valuing network effects, the twins would have to be up there. To watch the full 2-hour interview by SumZero, check out the first link in the description, a great video on the future of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NFTs. Also, only a tiny percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy crypto content, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
In technology circles, the belief is that when a product is very sticky and has a lot of like product market fit, a lot of users and momentum, something has to be like 10x better for people to switch. Ethereum has a huge first mover advantage. It's on every major exchange. When people build stablecoins, like Gemini has built the Gemini dollar stablecoin, you start building it on Ethereum. There's so much building that's been happening there that that's where you want to go, because that's where eyeballs are. The thing that has to happen though is scalability and throughput. Its ability to process like many transactions cheaply. So right now, because that migration, so Ethereum 2.0 or Ethereum 2 is promises to solve this, and that migration is happening. But right now, there can be so much excitement that if things get hot or Ethereum can fall victim to the weight of its own success. So transaction prices go through the roof when there's a lot of activity and people are moving through different projects. So if it doesn't scale or make that migration successfully, which I do believe it will, then that could be a problem. And just to build on that, Tyler, to take like the other side of Ethereum, it's sort of theirs to lose. If you look at the operating space, there are a few major operating systems around the world. You've got OS, iOS, Android, Linux, Windows. So it's not just sort of one operating system. There are network effects for sure, but we do see a couple of really big systems, at least in computing. And so it is possible that some newer layer 1 protocol says, hey, we're going to start at proof of stake. We're going to make a better smart contract language. It's easier to program, more secure. I think Tezos is an example of a project that launched with these things from day one. It hasn't had the same uptake, at least yet, as Ethereum. Maybe Solana's up there as well. I'm not as familiar with that project, but I think that there's going to be opportunities for other people to enter the race with potentially a 10x better project. But I think in my mind, it's a question between either winning all or winning a very, very big chunk of an enormous pie. I think it's in either case, it's an incredible long-term hold. The question is how incredible, what varying degree of incredible. By owning Ether, you're indexing the space of DeFi and all the layer 2 protocols and projects built on top of it. So think about buying land in Manhattan and people are then building skyscrapers on top of it. The more buildings and skyscrapers that are built on top of your land, the more people that demand that land, the more value. So by buying Ethereum, you are effectively buying land on this island. And you could also invest and or build a skyscraper, but that sort of becomes more of like picking the right project, like Aave, which is a leader in the lending space. I think there's a couple different, there's decentralized exchanges, DEXs. I think Uniswap is one of the leaders there. You've got Nexus Mutual, which is building insurance coverage, starting with smart contracts insurance coverage, but they're really trying to build a global underwriting engine for insurance contracts. And it's a community and you vote on the types of risks you want to insure. And it's almost like crowdsourced underwriting. It's super fascinating. So there's like this insurance vertical, there's a decentralized exchange vertical, there's lending, borrowing verticals.
To be clear, I mean, Ethereum 2.0 has been being talked about for a long time, but in December 2020, like an important threshold was met for Beacon. So that migration is to Ethereum 2.0 is happening, like, and there's a tangible movement, like technically.
Yeah, they've been shipping stuff.
Yeah, like which wasn't the case, like, you know, it was more of like a plan idea, like, and that threshold was met, and so it's more than just like an idea. I hope we'll get there. We're optimistic. Like it's actually happening, like as we speak.
Do you guys have any kind of price target on Ether?
Well, what I can say is that it was trading around 1,400 not that long ago. I think it was
like a month ago.
Yes. A month ago.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, this is so undervalued because that was the high 3 or 4 years ago in 2017.
Right.
And Bitcoin was already, 3x the previous high of 2017. And I felt like Ethereum's so undervalued. And of course it's just, ripped up to 4K, and Bitcoin's looking a little boring right now. And I'm sure, they're just going to buy and then people move.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I put a note on SumZero a month ago being like, there's a 4 to 5x delta between Bitcoin market cap and Ethereum. This just makes no sense when, you could see the traffic on Ethereum at levels never seen before with all the DeFi stuff happening, and now it's at like 4,000. I mean, I feel like in July it could easily be somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. But do you think about any kind of like fundamental? I mean, the thing that's interesting about Ethereum is that unlike Bitcoin, because it is predicated on transaction costs, like you can actually DCF the value of the Ethereum network. You're going to make all kinds of assumptions on growth, obviously, but do you ever think about taking gas fees over an annual period and just treating it as revenue to the network and putting a multiple on it and seeing what you get?
I haven't done that analysis, but I'm sure you or there's a lot of bright members on SumZero who could do it. So I'd love to see it. I have not personally done it, but yeah, I think you're right. 5,000, 5 to 10 feels like a reasonable range towards year end. And I guess if we're currently at Ethereum's maybe 50% market cap of Bitcoin, and we think Bitcoin's a 10x from here, I see no reason to believe that Ethereum isn't at least a 10x sort of lockstep.
Right.
And maybe quite frankly, a lot more, to my previous comments about how do you put a bound on this type of innovation and creativity? You really can't. So there's a psychology here. Like I remember when Bitcoin broke 50,000, it was like hovering at like 48, 49 and we're humans, right? So there's psychology. I think if Ether breaks 5,000, it just feels psychologically like a really interesting inflection point.
People like round numbers.
Yeah, people like round numbers. Then at 10,000, people's heads are going to explode.
Yeah.
So to recap, they can see Ethereum's price heading to 5,000 to 10,000 by the end of the year, and long term a minimum of a 10x from when Ethereum was at its all-time high, so that would mean a $40,000 Ethereum. Ethereum is one of the projects I'm most bullish on, and a hot take for you crypto investors, Ethereum from inception has actually outperformed Bitcoin by over 200%. It has, however, had much more volatility. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of those price predictions in the comments, if you think they are realistic, and if you picked up any Ether in the price drop. Hope that provided you with some value. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, have a great day.